So this is a big story that blew up a few days ago, and I definitely wanted to comment on it because there's a lot to say. U.S. track and field star Sha'Carri Richardson will be suspended for 1 month after testing positive for THC, the main psychoactive component of marijuana. The result means she cannot compete in the 100-meter race at the Tokyo Olympics. She was seen as the best U.S. contender for a gold medal in the event. Quote, "Don't judge me because I am human," Richardson said in an interview on Friday with NBC's Today Show. "I'm you. I just happen to run a little faster." The 21-year-old accepted the month-long period of ineligibility for the failed drug test beginning on June 28th, according to the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency. The rules are clear, but this is heartbreaking on many levels. Hopefully her acceptance of responsibility and apology will be an important example to us all that we can successfully overcome our regrettable decisions, despite the costly consequences of this one to her. The agency CEO Travis T. Tygart said in a statement, "The U.S. Anti-Doping Agency said it reduced Richardson's suspension to 1 month, the minimum allowed by the rules, because her marijuana use was unrelated to her athletic performance and occurred outside of competition, and also because she successfully completed a related counseling program." A counseling program. Richardson said she used marijuana after learning that her biological mother had died just a week before the Olympic trials. "It was difficult to have to go in front of the world and put on a face and hide my pain," she told Today. "Who am I to tell you how to cope?" Richardson used the drug in Oregon, NBC Sports reported, where it is legal for recreational use. The U.S. Anti-Doping Agency considers THC, which is in cannabis, marijuana, and hashish, a substance of abuse and prohibits it in competition. Richardson cannot run the 100-meter race at the Olympics because the positive test disqualified her result clocked at team trials. USA Track and Field has not clarified whether she might still be allowed to run the 4 times 100-meter relay, which is scheduled after her suspension ends. In April, she became the 6th fastest woman to run the 100-meter dash, recording a time of 10.72 seconds at a competition in Miramar, Florida. In a statement, USA Track and Field said Richardson's suspension was incredibly unfortunate and devastating for everyone involved. Yeah, so, I mean, listen, do I even need to comment? You guys know exactly what I'm going to say about this, but at every level, this is just such an absurd and silly and dumb story. The idea that this is even, like, helping her performance, I think is nonsense, and they even seem to admit that. So if it doesn't help her for performance, so it's not cheating, what's the problem? What's the issue? What's the issue here? Oh, she had a substance that she's not allowed to have, but why is she not allowed to have it? If it doesn't help her performance, why is she not allowed to have it? Well, she's not allowed to have it because it's wrong. Well, it's not against the law where she had it, and not that she even needs this other excuse, but it's a pretty damn good one. Her mother died, and she's like, fuck it, I'm getting high. I want to tap out of reality a little bit for right now. You know, I just think this is so silly. I guess people can make the argument, well, you know, all these top athletes, they know the rules and they have to do everything to try to not jeopardize, you know, their chance to compete in something like the Olympics. But guys, the rules are supposed to reflect something about reality. The rules are supposed to be somewhat fair. You can't tell me that legally smoking weed in Oregon, legal at the state level, to be fair, that doing that, and it doesn't help her performance, and she was doing it, she had a damn good reason to do it because she wanted to sort of escape reality for a little bit for an understandable reason. How can you tell me that this is unacceptable? Now, by the way, the initial response from Biden was classic Biden. He basically said, like, the rules are the rules. But if the rules are stupid, they shouldn't be rules. So I'm in favor of people breaking stupid rules. So, but listen, if anything, I mean, she's a martyr for this cause, but if anything, it might speed up the timeline on even more widespread acceptance of marijuana. Because I think everybody looks at this and says, this is really stupid and really dumb. And so it might make it so that, it's time to go back to the drawing board on a lot of these rules when it comes to substances and when it comes to these sports. You know, if this helps speed that up, then effectively she's a hero for the cause, if you think about it, you know? And it sucks that she has to miss out on the 100 meter, but everybody in this situation knows that she's a victim. Everybody knows she's a victim. And wouldn't it be badass if all of the other runners smoked weed in solidarity now? And listen, I have to say, there's one aspect to this story which is even more controversial, a take of mine, which is that I even have mixed feelings on the whole, like, performance-enhancing drug stuff. Because that's so arbitrary. Caffeine is performance-enhancing, but it's not considered performance-enhancing. So you could take a lot of caffeine and have an advantage, but you're allowed to do that. Somebody who takes caffeine before the run has a much bigger advantage than Sha'Carri did when she smoked weed a long time before she was ever involved in the competition. But the caffeine is allowed and this isn't allowed. That makes no sense. But again, that gets to my point. There's all these like pre-workout drinks which can definitely help you if you're a runner, and they're legal and they're probably allowed. The caffeine, legal, allowed. There's a number of things that are legal, that are not against the rules, that give you an advantage, that are allowed, but then, they try to draw the line somewhere, but the line is so arbitrary. So obviously you can't fucking do steroids or whatever. But I really am of the belief, now we're having a totally different conversation, but I really am of the belief that you either have to sort of allow everything, whoever wants to get the advantage, by turning their body into a fucking pharmacy, by all means go right ahead. Either you allow everything or you allow nothing, like not even caffeine. Like everybody's got to fucking wake up the same day and eat the same shit, get tested for every drug under the sun, including caffeine, and then you run it as pure can be. You got to do one or the other. I really dislike this idea of like, well, we'll draw a completely arbitrary line and say, these are what the rules are, and you have to abide by them just because they're the rules. No, I don't think that makes any sense. So if there was justice in the world, either all the other runners would smoke in solidarity with her, or they'd come out and say, this rule is stupid, we're changing the rule effective immediately, and she's allowed to run in it. It's just, if you wouldn't punish her for having a couple glasses of tequila or getting drunk on beer or wine a couple months before, then why would you punish her for smoking some weed? And if anything, as you guys know, weed is less destructive than alcohol is as a substance. But again, one would be allowed and one wouldn't be allowed. I really dislike the deeply irrational and illogical nature of a lot of these rules and a lot of the approaches here. So, I feel nothing but bad for her, and they should change this rule immediately. They should change the laws immediately. Don't give me this bullshit about, oh, she made a mistake and this is tough for everyone. It's not tough for everybody. It's tough for her. It's not tough for like the U.S. Doping Agency or the Olympic Rules Committee or whatever. It's not tough for them. It's tough for her. So just change the rule, because the rule is stupid, and hopefully that speeds up the timeline. But for right now, we live in this world where the rules make no sense, they're all over the place, and they're going to be enforced as is.